because there's not many teams left that you haven't played against, right? So,
yeah.
I mean, and you might have some of the toughest matches in the end too. So it's really important to not, like you said, fall into that hole and have to dig your way out. And it's also not fun to play with your backs against the wall like that, where every game there's so much pressure and you have to show all your best strategies and really dig deep. It's nicer to be in a position where you can maybe experiment a little bit or afford to lose, which for now, obviously, all the teams can, but you generally would be very happy to get off to at least a somewhat good start. Just break even on day 2 is fine for a lot of top-tier teams because they might have learned what they need to learn, and then they can progress into the later days. But if you start off 1 and 5, you're on the quite the recovery track already to break even.
I'm going to open up my caffeinated beverage. Yeah, but I just wanted to let you know ahead of time. Cheers. Let's have some fun.
I can hear that. It's impressive.
It's the year 2023, and I'm still alive somehow, and we're casting together. It's good. It's good to be here.
Oh, that's some... yeah, thanks for the pause, Sunsfan.
Yep, we can pause and reflect a little bit. Oh, that tastes delicious.
They heard you open your beverage, and they were like, hang on.
Yeah, it's important to, appreciate things while they last in there, because who knows when things can come crashing down in the most embarrassing way possible. Am I right?
Damn, you're getting really philosophical today, aren't you? That's is that the Reddit post from the other day or from yesterday where people said you look like you had been on a bender?
Yes, a bender of drinking soda. No, I do not drink alcohol.
An S-tier post, the 50-50. Mira here taking some pretty significant damage. He has glimpse.
Oh, he gets off the tricks of the trade.
This is a pretty terrible spell to have to skill, though.
Yeah, I was going to say.
You're starting in lane as more or less a glorified melee creep now as Ricky. You have no Blink Strike, which is really what the hero has to offer. So I think for starters, the Disruptor skill in Glimpse is obviously not the best either. You would like to have Thunderstrike a lot of the time, but I think the trade-off here is definitely in LGD's favor of...
Is it what? Okay, tell me why, though, because all Disruptor can do is right-click now. The same as Ricky.
He's ranged.
Okay, he glimpsed. He does a little damage with Glimpse now, right? So
Glimpse does damage, and the fact that he's a ranged hero, right, with boots. So you see both Mira and Yutoro taking some serious pressure.
He doesn't have that sweet base regen that Ricky does, though.
That is true.
It's one of the higher regens in the game. I hate that that's your only argument, and it's correct.
I mean, that is pretty much the killer argument in a lane where 2 enemy heroes are immobile and short range or melee. They can't really trade with you if you just hit them from far away.
Yeah, very true. How does Timbersaw match up against the likes of Morphling into the later stage of the game? Because Whirling Death, obviously, the stat stealing, or it's not stealing, it's almost like temporary burning, I guess. Mm-hmm. How does that work against Morphling?
It's okay. I think the main thing Timbersaw has on Morphling is his ability to itemize. He's one of the offlaners that can itemize effectively against Morphling by buying a hood, and just being a constant pressure for Morphling in the fight, something he has to deal with because he's a hard kill. A lot of other offlaners, Morphling can make quick work of a force out, and a lot of the time Timbersaw can actually just stand his ground and keep throwing out pure damage at you. And even though he might not kill you, as long as he forces you to morph into strength, then you're losing your damage output, right? So it's...
I mean, they do have 2 heroes. They do have 2 heroes that deal pure damage to Yutoro. If you count the Spectre, obviously needs to be alone, but...
True.
They have some ways to do some damage to him.
It's mainly the Batrider that I'm concerned about for Old 11, which was obviously the 10th pick of the draft, right? I think that's the real concern in that matchup, because he can deal pretty well with Morph, but the Bat is always going to be a thorn in his side, even if you itemize magic resistance, which, for me in this game, I think personally is a no-brainer that you buy a hood against this lineup. Like, there's Morph Carry, who has a lot of magic damage, there's Batrider, and there's the Clockwork, so tons of magic damage you can mitigate. But even then, Batrider can still become overwhelming in the right conditions, but you pretty much have to buy a hood here, right? Surely.
Well, speaking of Laurel in the mid lane on Batrider, nothing to say is so far doing extremely well. 18-3 versus the 13-2. Laurel has been sitting on these extra points So we'll see what he ends up going for. Is it not usually a 2-1-1 anyway? What's the usual skill build on that?
Sometimes you can go 2-0-2. I think you hold the points because you want to see what the exact opportunity arises. If there's a moment where, let's say, Pango oversteps a little bit and you don't need the Flame Break, you can get 2 in Firefly. That might give you the kill. Right. Whereas other times where you are in a chasing sequence, having that extra skill point to put in Flame Break can also net you the kill. It can also be defensive, right? You're getting ganked. Maybe the Flame Break point can save you. And you're not using the spell right now anyway, so why level it? It's kind of pointless. But yeah, like you said, NTS is doing well in the start. I do think in this lane, Pango and Batrider kind of trade in the beginning, and it starts getting dangerous for Pango on level 5 and especially level 6 for Bat, where if you get close at all, you can really be in trouble. Speaking of getting close, Mira, not the kill I was expecting to find here.
Yeah, that was
soloed the Disruptor.
So it was, I saw part of it, but basically they were fighting over the bounty rune. Disruptor had to use kinetic field to try to get it, but Mira just used tricks of the trade to get over, and then it was just this long-ass chase back to the top lane. As Miposhka, he's going to go on top of YU Smile. He has his battery assault, but cover of Planet here to help get the reciprocal kill onto Miposhka, so it ends up being relatively newly picked up Diffusal Blade onto Nothing to Say. They're going to go into the enemy triangle.
Mira has some really good info here.
Yeah, they know that a ward has been placed there, and all likelihood.
Does he have his dart? He does. Dart arrived.
Not sure they're going to be able to do anything about this, but that'll be an easy D ward. Although
he's going to place the sentry and choose not to D ward because he doesn't want to give up his position, so he can make a move instead.
Indeed, he's going to attempt it. They don't have vision here. There's the dart. Static Storm is there onto Miposhka, but they have to glimpse him back. They finally do, but that's the only kill. That's not what they want. They get Mira as well. The 2 supports, PSG.LGD. Spirit not able to really take advantage of that. An advantage.
Batrider didn't have resources, so he couldn't connect.
Yatoro. He gets
this
his
would be
morph
a
off,
huge
but he
one.
has very little mana to speak of thanks to the Diffusal Blade. Rolling Thunder continuing. You can see the shard newly picked up by Nothing to Say. Blade Mail from Shiro. Not going to do too much. There's a swatch again. He gets glimpsed, and, well, Yatoro gets taken out for
that
the
was such
second time.
Cool attempt, though, from Yatoro, trying to turn into the Timber Song.
This game with the root from Nature's Prophet. You just have. It feels like you have to itemize so much against this Team Spirit lineup that
it's very
you run out of slots, and then the items might not necessarily, like, you don't want a Linken's on top of all this. I feel like
Planet. He doesn't know.
He is dead inside the silence, and a tier 2 tower looks to be next for Team Spirit as a Shadow Step is being shown, just to get that off cooldown. It did a good amount of damage to collapse, but
yeah, actually,
I'll just shrug it off. And 8k lead, so Spirit continue to grow the lead. Lothar is on, or good lord, how do I still say Lothar's? Shadow Blade. It's because Shadow Blade is such a lame name. Let's be real. I don't know what's lame about it. Actually, if you think about it, it's kind of a cool name. Shadow Blade.
I'm glad you figured that out all on your own. That's.
I don't know. Lothar is just so hard to kick.
Let me know when you want to talk.
The dart into the initiation from Laurel. That is a dead Pango. And the root on the hook shot. Man, this Timbersaw cannot do anything. Just completely stun locked. But Static Storm on top of Laurel is trying to get away from this Bat Rider. Wait for him. Yatoro turns into the Timbersaw, now focusing all his efforts onto Shiro. A couple more right clicks will do it along with that Flame Break. Double kill for Laurel. 2-0. Team Spirit looking extremely good in this game number 1.
Oh, they have a good ward here. They see 11.
Now he gets pushed back into the silence. But the glimpse will keep him safe for now. Miposhka, he might be the one in trouble. Thunderstrike upon him. Looks like he will drop. But likely to be a tier 2 tower, or at least heavy damage to it.
This is a have his morph, I gotta say. It's one thing when Spectre shadow steps on you. Imagine being shadow stepped on by Morphling.
Yeah.
That is.
Nope. Meanwhile, towards the top, we got some action. Nothing to say. Gets on the Rolling Thunder just in time. They take out the Ricky, but it's going to be a trade for their Disruptor and Enchantress. Hook shot misses from Miposhka. See if LGD want to try to reset here. And Poshka able to retrieve the gem. As he does have the Philosopher's Stone, by the way, Cinder. That's why he's so rich. Has something to do with the team doing so well this game.
Yeah, it's got to be it.
All Philly Stone.
21k difference between the two. Philosopher's Stone accounting for about 15 of that.
Yep, old 11.
Old 11.
He is in
Good
a lot
saves.
of trouble.
Oh,
Greaves,
force.
but then he gets rooted at the last moment.
Okay.
But he will limp his way back into the fountain as the fortifications
Great
pop.
defensive play by the two to not lose anyone and hold the tower here. Oh, good bash.
Yeah, nothing to say with a nice swashbuckle. There's a shadow step, but Mikochka is going to live for the time being. Oh, he actually gets cogs off in time as well. They keep pushing back Shiro.
Is he gonna? He's actually
3
gonna
times he gets pushed
kidding
back.
me?
And Shiro probably very annoyed right now.
Get that.
I was just mentioning Shiro's choice. At first it was Scotty, which would have been quite normal. Now it's Lincoln's, which I understand why he would want it. There's Lasso, and even, I would argue, Morphling's ult being used with that Aghanim
is the biggest
Scepter.
problem, I think. Yeah.
As we're going to see
Alright, Laurel.
the Shadow Step being used. But I feel like getting Lincoln, I don't think that's going to help you win. It's not a game-winning item. Gotta play to win, not play not to lose, or whatever the hell that saying is.
Yep, that is true.
48 seconds left on the Aegis, so we'll see if Team Spirit want to chillax a bit.
Or they're going to try to find Shiro here. They're reading this movement perfectly, but they're going top. Laurel.
Yep,
Planet first. The dart. He didn't react. He didn't see it coming, so didn't Manta.
And hook
this
shot.
could be trouble.
And this could be the end of the game, potentially. He gets rooted inside the Sprout as well. Has the Blade Mail activated, but those cogs will prevent you from going anywhere. Does not finish off the Bat Rider.
Oh, return kill.
He did, actually.
After his death, though, so doesn't get the experience, which would have been really nice to get him his level 20 talent and more, but this might at least stop the push from Spirit from continuing. Although, I mean, they could try to force a buyback here. I think the Morph kill is still really difficult for the Radiant to pull off, even without Aegis. Now he has Butterfly. So I wouldn't mind seeing Yatar just going in here and starting to hit this tower, or he's just going to Shadow Step in and look for the kill.
Just turns into Spectre. He's like, I'm better than you. Okay, Eon disprocs on the nothing to say. And Old 11 just has to brush off this damage. Taurus BKB is done. So he does have to be a bit careful. And Fortification popped. Mid lane was being pushed at the same time. But without the Bat Rider, I was going to say Team Spirit would maybe back off, but they look to be wanting to aggress. Getting a little bit of vision there. There's the dart again onto Old 11. Already at half HP. My goodness. Very little even used here. And he is just destroyed.
He just can't tank this.
Goodness.
He gets Silver Edge hit, and he doesn't start getting stacks on his armor.
That's going to be
Yeah, that's your quote-unquote tanky frontliner right there. Yeah, it's
Well, it's funny that
it is what it is, man. I think for the Morph, either of these two out of the picture does allow for Shiro to potentially play the fight.
Nothing to say. He gets spotted. But he's going to be fine. Oh, I say that maybe too early. Double flame break, but wrong direction. Collapse, okay. He gets the leash with the Sprout. Nothing to say is nullified. He gets lasso. He's been magic immune this entire time and still feels like just super squishy.
Yep. And he doesn't buy back. I don't think Spirit know this for a fact, but they're just going to force him to use it if he has it.
Also a DD top. Not sure if they really have time to go get it or if they even need it at this point. And both bottom and mid are gone, so top is the last remaining to get these mega creeps. Planet, he gets off his Static Storm, but dies inside of it, and that is just going to be GG for LGD.
Yeah.
As they get outclassed in this game number 1 by Team Spirit, who continue to look extremely good. We talked about how they lost off of...
Make the ultimate choice.
Good start and gets rolling. They need this Death Prophet to find major impact, to get towers, to open up the map for Naga.
And I believe the last time we cast Laurel on the Lesh, which was yesterday, he went 19-0. So Very much a comfort pick for him. I think you could probably say that for any mid laner, but maybe especially him. And Mira trying to test for wards. Nothing placed as of yet. Or has yet to attack him.
Yep.
As it is nighttime. That was actually very subtle but very cool change that they made when they made it nighttime for pre-0 minute.
Yeah.
Just because of the night vision aspect, and you just see more first bloods as a result. I think it's one of the underrated changes in the last couple years.
Oh, he's gonna... Yeah, he's checking all the angles here. He knows that the ward is in the bottom half now. And PSG.LGD are gonna start denying it. Turning this into a bait.
Oh!
Good deny.
Yeah,
oh
he's
boy,
stuck
this is
inside
a good
the
trap.
shards, but the split earth is doing a lot of damage, and this is a 5v5 old-fashioned brawl right here. The glimpse back onto Mira. First blood for Old 11. Planet will not live as the split earth splits him open. So 1 for 1, but first blood to LGD.
It's just
talking about how the nighttime. I mean, maybe that wasn't because of nighttime, but I mean, we see a lot of first bloods. That was a literal 5v5. That's really cool.
It's just really cool. Planet is going in. Shards off the mark. Nice try. They will at least steal the 2 big creeps here, though, so even that is a bit of a... That's like a 200 net worth swing.
Yep.
Getting these 2 out of his hands. Pretty nice. Shiro will be okay. So I wonder what Shiro's going to do now. Like, do you just go jungle as level 5 Naga here? You probably do, right? Like, Snap's level 6 and there's a Clockwork and Fog. This lane is not inhabitable, and yeah, he's just going to rotate in here. Probably give Y the lane top to try to get level 6. And that's A-okay for them. They give Planet mid on the Phoenix to also get levels. These support levels on PSG.LGD are extremely powerful. If Phoenix and Disruptor have 6s at the right time and they can play around Tusk with either of them, there's just kills aplenty. And actually, they're going to turn it into 1 top. Collapse getting caught now.
Yep, getting punched mid-cookie. And that is the double damage being shown by Nothing to Say. He's going to have to walk back into the mid lane. You can see that Team Spirit have kind of switched things up in terms of lanes. Yataro is now in the mid lane, while Laurel, I think he was jungling for a bit, so I'm not sure if he's going to go back to mid or how they actually want to switch these lanes up, because they are down 2k at 8 minutes. Not good for Team Spirit.
I would agree with that.
Mira, Thunderstrike upon him, gets glimpsed to the other side of his cogs inside the kinetic field now. And Nothing to Say, saves his snowball and punch. They were able to get that kill relatively easily, but Yataro turns into Nothing to Say. Inside his own shards now. He's going to get right-clicked out eventually, but it's going to cost Laurel his life again. And now Yatoro, Frost Shield applied to him. He's going to be stuck inside the kinetic field again. You can see the Mortimer's Kiss is trying to help him out, but the double kill for Old 11 comes to fruition nonetheless. So Collapse not able to do too much with his rotation. So 2 enormous kills again for PSG.LGD. They do lose the Tusk, though.
Oh, Miposhka now.
11. Yeah, Miposhka looks like he's ticking down to the Fire Spirits. Egg did go off. Not sure if that did anything, but...
You wanted to see impact from Planet in this game. We were talking about the matchup against Snap, which hasn't been relevant yet, but man, he counterplayed that gank so hard on mid with his Fire Spirits. He got 2 or 3 full-on connections. Yeah, but I would actually argue it's really good against Morph because it counteracts a waveform, right? So if you are initiating and you kick Morph all the way back into your team, where does he waveform to, right? He either waveforms back into you where you kicked him from, and then you can lock him down with shards, and he can't get out of those, or he has to waveform in some odd angle, and things can get really awkward. Ooh, very close to getting a glimpse there with the Sunray. That would have been huge. He might have been able to somehow weasel his way out of that with a BKB, but I actually don't think so. I think they would have got that kill on Yatoro, but good TP out, reading the move.
Collapse on the other side has his Greaves, and looks like Ags is going to be next on his list, so that is going to be a way to potentially save teammates.
I don't know if I'm sold
use it
on
to
that.
initiate.
You already have Clockwork that is effectively kind of performing that function. I guess throwing in Morphling is really powerful, right? You can just toss him into the Disruptor and kill him instantly with BKB. Maybe that's the idea. This Roche is gone. First Roche of the game, 22 minutes with Exo. Aegis going on Shiro, who I would imagine wants to take more of an involved role now with his heart. He's a ton harder for the Radiant to kill at this point, and his damage might not be the most overwhelming, but his utility is actually should not be underestimated. His team uses Song of the Sun. This hero is incredibly powerful in the stage leading up to where we are now, and if he had to spend that entire time farming, then half of the hero's logic is gone. I mean, you obviously still want it against Naga, that's why they did choose it over other alternatives, but the fact that mid tower is still standing minute 28 against Lesh goes to show, right, that this did not go according to plan.
This smoke is finally going to run out. My goodness, that was a long smoke as the tier 1 tower is finally taken out. Able to find anything initially, but Laurel is going to take the ruin. He's going to get punched into the air. BKB already popped. Cookie's going to save him for the time being, but he can only stand his ground with the BKB Pulse Nova. And both sides kind of waiting this out a bit as Yatoro pops his BKB of his own, now focusing on Nothing to Say, but there's the song. Is it going to cancel the Snapwire ult? It is not. So Nothing to Say has to buy back into the game as the egg inside the pit. That's the shard as well. The Sunray doing pretty good work as the Lich ult is doing even more so, but Shiro, he's getting extremely low. He's going to drop. The Aegis was consumed naturally, I believe. So really good timing from Team Spirit is why he's going to force step to the high ground. Kinetic Kill keeps him in the vicinity, and Yatoro gets glimpsed back, so Y is actually okay. Am I wrong that the Aegis was expired naturally?
Yeah, I think it was already gone, right?
A prime target to be the initiator. So now you have two ways to initiate, and I guess he's not going for Blink, so there's no real save potential unless you just waddle up and find somebody with low HP. Yep. It looks like they're going to try to focus down the top lane. Aghanim Scepter now online, though, for Nothing to Say. Walrus kick inside their base, especially as a reveal, could have huge impact. Nope. Doesn't want to show himself. It is nighttime. Obviously, the Aegis is not something they want to try to focus down here. Yeah, there's the hook shot. They're going to try to burst down Old 11 again. They do. No buyback, 90 seconds, no DP, but there's Nothing to Say. Gets off the Walrus Kiss, but it's just on Mira. They do end up finding him. There's going to be a lot of damage coming out from the Mortimer's Kisses and whatnot, but the BKB's activated galore. PSG.LGD have to kind of reset.
Song is ready.
Range Rax is taken out already. There's the glimpse onto Laurel. He gets kicked into the fountain, and he gets rooted on top of all that. He is dead inside the fountain. Nice job from PSG.LGD, but oh, the fortification. See if they're able to get this Rax in time. There's 2 siege units. Yeah, so that is a top Rax regardless. Now, of course, the Walrus, or the kick has been revealed. Nothing to Say, still dead for 70 seconds. Well, they glimpse. Nice Manta.
Nice Manta dodge.
Yeah, I don't know if they can do anything. With the Rax advantage now. Net worth is relatively even.
I want to see more out of Shiro. I've been a bit disappointed with his overall impact in this game on Naga, given how much farm they've put into him. But obviously, from a lineup or matchup perspective, it is a bit. Oh, this is a good catch. They have static Ags.
Oh,
this is huge.
There it is.
This is huge.
With the static. Oh my god, they just blow up the Lech like none other. Mira is just going to die as residual damage, but that is 3 kills. Make it 4 as Collapse goes down as well. Oh my god, what
Yatoro
a disaster
1v5, let's go.
Team Spirit. Yatoro pops the BKB. Recently picked up the Ags, and all he can do is try to fight his way out of this, but it's not going to happen. A full team wipe. Set up from the disgusting song into Static Storm Ags. Holy Jesus. No
I wanted the
buybacks.
impact from Shiro, and he waited 10 seconds, and then he just delivers a game-winning play on the spot. Called it. Shit, man. That's amazing from LGD. That's at least one lane. Like you said, no buybacks. They don't know this, though. If they could see the buyback timers here, they might just go for GG, but their lineup isn't exactly the absolute fastest at taking towers when they don't have DP ult.
Yeah.
So they might just settle for 2 sides, but what an insane combination and value. out of that at Disruptor Axe reveal together with the Naga Song on 3 heroes. Perfect lining up of the spells. Could just barely get all 3 of them in the kinetic field. Just really nice. And this has turned everything on its head. You were talking about the roller coaster graph. Look at the last 3 minutes now. That is...
Finish the racks. All right.
Quite the drop-off.
Man.
I'm pretty sure a slope like that, if you did that in ski jumping, would probably be lethal. It's a little bit too steep, but it did remind me of going down the ski jumping ledge. Not something I would ever risk at all, because this fight is going to be...
They're trying.
It's impossible to take into the edges, and yeah, they will go for the 4v5. The
might
full
be
lane
too
YOLO
late.
play,
We'll
but,
see.
Yeah,
they're going to be
song.
spotted. There's the hook shot onto Old 11.
Too early.
All right, they're not going to go
what's
for the
going
Roshan
on?
quite yet.
Oh, the save.
Okay, they save him temporarily. Old 11 still getting quite low. Finally will drop to the Chain Frost. Now Mira with the Nullifier getting dropped as well, but he's going to buy back into the game on the Clockwork. You can see the Sunray just doing work onto Laurel. Finally pops the BKB. Very late usage. That's nothing to say. Stuck inside this split earth. And Yataro just cleaning up on the sideline. They did not finish Roche. That means double buyback now from PSG.LGD. They're going to be able to get the Aegis. Yataro takes it for himself as Shiro doesn't have his song available anymore. So has the Sheep and the Manta Saw if he wants to use it. Nothing to say. Getting extremely low on the sideline. The Gem just sitting on the deck. He's going to go down to the Lich Nuke. In the meantime, Mira looks like he is taking a ton of damage from Planet. The glimpse back Yataro. He's just standing in place very awkwardly. Aegis still intact though, so this is 1 death for him. Meanwhile, Laurel's getting chased by Old 11 who popped the BKB, but now they have the Static Storm. They have the control that is needed to finally kill off Yataro, who has made this a much more difficult game for PSG.LGD out of nowhere. But the buybacks have worked out in some respect for PSG.LGD. As you can see, Yataro, no buyback available for himself. They lost the Aegis. I don't know if... Who got the Refresher Shard? I just heard it popped, actually.
By Death Prophet.
Okay, so she ended up picking it up.
So, this is Mega's minimum.
Yep.
I mean, what a crazy mess of a fight, really. They song to protect the Roche, but they used the song too early, so they don't have enough damage to kill the Roche off. Then they run in and fight them. And they save Old 11 with a snowball, but the moment he comes out of it, he doesn't get BKB off in time and just dies. Has to TP and come back in. There were multiple things there for PSG.LGD that did not go according to plan, but the buffer with the buybacks and
the last ditch effort here, the gobble up, but now the kickback as Laurel is kind of isolated on the back line. Stuck inside the kinetic field. Already the Ancient is at half HP. Chainfrost not really bouncing a whole lot. Laurel still kind of isolated. Finally going to be killed off by the Sunray and right clicks of the Tusk. It looks like Lich is going to be next, and now they can just focus down the Ancient absolutely no problem. Still no Morphling for 20 seconds. They're going to go for the kills now, though, as Laurel did buy back into the game. Has the Chi still available on himself. The Egg with the Sunray. Glimpse not going to... Oh, actually does bring back the Leshrac. Already at half HP. The Spirit Vessel still applied. 10 seconds till the Morphing is back, but Laurel will not be here for it. Is finally going to get dropped, and with that... Yataro, I don't think can hold this Cinderin, as they can just focus down the Ancient. He's going to BKB, Morphling waveform in, but the Song of the Siren, awkwardly used. To try.
He's healing his team, I guess.
Yeah, all right. Finally, the Orchid is applied. GG, well played is called.